All right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. Uh, do I have to explain what a Sonic game is?
Or do I have to?
You have to, Petty.
Okay. God damn it. So, has anybody played Sonic Generations? It was about a decade ago. It was Sonic's 20th anniversary game, celebrating at the time 20 years of Sonic the Hedgehog through its two main phases. The quote unquote classic era, which was the 2D momentum based platforming that we all know and love from the 90s. And then, as well as the what has been kind of dubbed the boost generation, where they put Sonic in. Sorry, I had to turn it down. Put Sonic in 3D and gave you the boost button. Loud. Sorry about that. It changes modes on me and put the volume at max. So apologies for that. And for the regular Sonic Generations, it's just that for that half of this game. It's overall the same game from 2010, I want to say, or 2012 maybe. It's been a long time. And you get to do all the things you did back then, but with a little bit of a extra boost. Modern Sonic has drop dash now. Classic Sonic can get it too. There. And oh yeah, I do have the adventure skin and the jam skins unlocked. But yeah, everything from Generations is here. You get the skill shop, so I can give Sonic the drop dash. Maybe? Where is it? Maybe I don't have it unlocked yet. I probably don't have it unlocked yet. Fair enough. Unless it's customization, maybe? Drop dash. Yeah, so I do have drop dash available in stages. So, like, I can go over here to Green Hill Zone, and I can play through a recreation of Green Hill Zone Acts 1 and 2 in Sonic Generations, redone in modern resolutions. And I can do my drop dash. I can do my regular spin dash. I think the only thing that was not kept for this game is you cannot, like, actually play an emulated version of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Which, that's... I don't like that Sega did that. I get why, because, like, you can literally play it for free on your phone by now, just with ads. But at the same time, it's more of a, you know, preservationalist thing. As far as movement, feels fine. You know, Sonic moves like Sonic should. This is probably the best Sonic has moved without, like, tweaking or mods. Probably since Generations. Like, I still need to do some movement tweaking for Frontiers to make it feel right. This is probably my favorite Sonic out of the box movement. And yeah, music's all still here. I do not believe there was any Michael Jackson tracks from SA3 in here to begin with, so we don't have to worry about them being just gone anyway, like they were in the Origins collection. So yeah, all the music's here, including Live and Learn, which that's a topic. I guess for those of you who don't know, the writer behind the song has been not pleased that Sega's still using it. So I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully it gets resolved well. And that's classic Sonic. And then I can go into modern. I should just be able to jump to it from here. And yeah, you do get graded like you do in the modern era. You will get a perfect rank. If you get a perfect clear, you get like an extra rank bonus. And then with modern, you get to go through a differing recreation of the stage, but you get the boost. Ready, go. And then you also will notice there is a more instrumental version of the music, because the Act 1 or classic Sonic versions will have more Genesis sounding instruments from that era, and then Act 2 has more real orchestrated pieces, and so on and so forth. And now you have your dash, you have your homing attack, ground stomp, all the regular fixins for modern Sonic are here, including the aerial tricks. And then, yeah, this is, for the most part, the same game we had back then as far as regular generations goes. The most they've done is some of the lines have been redone for better or for worse. That's like
the audio, you mean?
Like,
the
yeah,
voices?
they've redone lines. They didn't do all the cutscenes, like all the original audio's not here. They've done some slight animation changes, but not a lot. Like, they changed Amy. She's not as grabby as she was in the start of generations before, when Sonic was at his birthday party. And then they've also like changed some lines around, which some people hate it. I wish there was an option to either keep them as is or use the new lines. I can get why some people don't like them as much, because like there are some funny quips about classic Sonic being a little tubbier than modern. But like at the same time, I understand why some of those were removed, because they could be seen as, let's say, hurtful. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it is the writing team's decision whether or not they want to keep that stuff in when they remake a game. And then as far as like the regular flow of the games, each stage is a different one of Sonic's friends. Like this one has Tails. Amy's at the chemical plant, which is from Sonic 3. Green Hell is obviously from Sonic 1. The Sonic 3 stand-in is Sky Sanctuary. Speed Highway is from Adventure. City Escape from SA2. Seaside.
Now, some might claim that having what is effectively a glorified stage select screen with a few platforming challenges to get to side level stuff is a downgrade compared to having a actual proper hub world. But those people haven't been to Soliana recently.
We'll be getting to that. Seaside Hill is from Heroes. And I have not gotten that far in this. Do I have the boss battle unlocked? I don't think so. I do not. But yeah, how you unlock the boss battles is around the hub world, there are these little challenge gates. If you do those, you can unlock the boss gates. And they're based off the stages they're around. So, like, this is a race of Seaside Hill Act 2 against they're calling it a doppelganger. I think this is just like a staff ghost, or may not even be that. You don't have any of Sonic's, like, non-standard abilities in these. So, like, anything you add with the skill system are not here. So, like, classic Sonic won't have drop dash here, but modern Sonic does because it's part of his base kit. Damn it. Yeah, sorry. It's been a while since I've been here. I've beaten this stage originally, but I've not gotten that far in regular generations just because this would have been my 5th time completing the game. I decided to put more of my time into Shadow Generations for obvious reasons. And oh yeah, Sonic can also drift. Because of course he can. And yeah. Once I get through with this, we can switch over to Shadow Generation, because that's where most of the dev went on this. Because it is basically Sonic Frontiers 1.5. And yeah, here's more of the trappings from the Sonic Heroes portions that have been... They do have some elements lovingly redone, like the car and the drift sections for the Sonic Unleashed area. What's it called? I am drawing a blank. Not Seaside. I'm going to remember this later, and it's going to piss me off. Anyway. I guess the only thing I'm not... This is more because I'm used to it from, Keller's and Frontiers, is Sonic doesn't have a double jump. So I do find myself
Which is usually useful because Sonic's platforming has never been the most precise, and it helps adjust a little bit.
Yeah. I forgot that did that. Okay, we're good. But yeah, that's basically kind of the flow with the Sonic stages. Every one of these you beat, a little bell pops up. You collect it, it unlocks music, art, because this is a celebration game. each section has a boss fight. You fight the Death Egg Robo. I believe this one. What was this boss? It wasn't Egg Dragoon. Might have been Perfect Chaos. Yeah, it was Perfect Chaos here. And then you fight Egg Dragoon. And then you fight the Time Eater. So we will switch over from this. Yes. No. Return to games. And we will go over to Shadow Generations. Continue. Yes, please. And I'm probably going to need to turn this down a lot. No. Good. And yeah, we have shifted over to Shadow Generations. The hub world is back to being a hub world, similar to Sonic Frontiers. You still can fast travel around if you so choose. And there is the one DLC stage where I can play as Keanu Reeves. I mean, movie Shadow. And I think this is the first time I've ever actually opened this up. So I guess we can do this one. And yeah, it's a similar flow. There is a Act 1, which is more like regular Sonic. It's flipped. Act 1 is more 2D, and then Act 2 is the more... Act 1 is more 3D, Act 2 is more 2D for Shadow. And Shadow has a much wider array of abilities. He has his Doom Spear. His homing attack is a teleport. So you can go around certain things like attacks or walls or things that if Sonic attacked too soon, he would be damaged. Shadow also has Chaos Control that is leveled up via is unlocked or activated once you hit a certain gauge threshold. You can activate it and you will stop time for about 5 seconds. There is no skills in this game. So I can't make Chaos Control longer. I can't, change Shadow's jump. Shadow very much plays like Frontier Sonic. You got your grinding, you've got your double jump. Homing, the whole kit and caboodle. You were always able to boost. That was actually a cool transition. Yeah, this is my first time doing this. Sorry. Oh, I missed. Yeah, sometimes the drop is supposed to lock on. But for whatever reason, I've seen other reports that it just doesn't sometime in that particular section if the enemy quite isn't in range. It doesn't do its subtle adjustment like it's supposed to. I could have sworn it should have been patched by now, but whatever. And yeah, this one's much more spectacle. Like there are little cutscenes like this that even happened in the regular game, where it's just Shadow doing badass Shadow things. And it also happens a lot more in boss fights. There are just moments where just Shadow does cool thing with a QTE or whatever. Just this game, man. Well, it's particular Shadow. Oh. And then, of course, the music is, as always, phenomenal. What?
Getting
Oh,
getting caught up in the grinding?
Maybe. Ooh. Oh, damn. I missed the ramp. Oh.
So how does this compare to Shadow the Hedgehog?
The original Shadow the Hedgehog game, like on GameCube?
Yes.
This is much closer to Sonic Frontiers than any other like Sonic or Shadow game. So it doesn't play. There are no branching paths like Shadow had. You don't pick up firearms. There are no alternate objectives. It is purely stage based. Sonic and
You get
Shadow.
some new weird platforming / kind of exploration powers as you progress from the whole Black Doom thing, because I don't know how, based on how far you've got, how much of this you've known, but one of the more interesting things about this edition is some of the lore stuff they added.
Yes. I actually have the lore book completed. I don't really want to show that off on stream because that is major spoilers for a lot of Shadow's lore.
Yeah, but you can be vague about it. Just
fair enough.
You get to learn some more about stuff that, because of the particularly version of the White Void that Shadow is stuck in, which is not exactly the same as the one Sonic is. He gets to interact with characters that aren't around anymore, and you learn some stuff about his background from them.
Yes. And not only that, but that
means more than the obvious ones.
And there are also heavy lore revelations that are brought up because there is now a lore team at Sega, headed by Ian Flynn of the IDW comics.
And yeah, there's also like a unlockable book in-game that has further background stuff.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those. If you're a fan of Sonic lore at all, this is required. And then I can also show off some more of the Doom powers. Because not all of them are required in every stage. So, some of them actually do unlock alt routes.
But some are like purely contextual.
Yeah.
Like you can only use the water one when you're near / on water.
Yeah, so like you use it in a specific boss fight that I'm not going to bring up because, again, spoilers. There is just some random Sonic characters roaming about. Like there is Orbot and Cubot who want gems for some kind of rocket. And as you give them as you give them nuts and bolts, they will give you concept art, music, so on and so forth. There are these like little flash challenges here that also give you like concept art and stuff. Basically similar to regular generations, you will be inundated with a lot of art and just Sonic celebratory stuff, because I don't know if you can tell, this is a celebration of Sonic the Hedgehog's history. Because I got the deluxe edition, I do have the Shadow, I guess, concept art skin. I'm not a fan of it because it just is a cosmetic. It doesn't like replace Sonic Shadow's run cycle. So that doesn't have Shadow's air shoes. So it just looks dumb trying to run around because it wants to skate, but it doesn't have the air skates. Now that I have 50 rings, I have what is basically your ultimate power, where you can glide, and you are also invincible in this form. As far as level selection in here, we have the DLC level Balloon Rush, or that's not the Tokyo, is it? Where the hell am I? Oh, that's challenge list. Yeah, Tokyo is the extra stage you get with the DLC. You get Space Colony Arc, because they drop you immediate res in when you hit go, as similar to Sonic Keller's. You then go to Rail Canyon. You will fight the Bio Lizard, and then Kingdom Valley, Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces. I don't want to go any deeper into that because that will bring up the couple spoiler bosses. Let me try to remember what the other. There is Kronos Island, I want to say, is the Frontiers. I guess stand-in representation, and I think that's it for main levels. And then there are, similar to regular generations, sub levels where you can unlock more of those, the like songs, the just all of the fluff you could ask for. These ones are a lot harder to catch compared to the ones in Generations, because they're moving in a 3D space. Oh yeah, the last upgrade I forgot to mention is this purple goop over here is normally impassable. Like, it makes you run slow, you can't boost. But because I have the morph, I believe it is called, I can go through it. And there is also a mechanic with this where I can latch to like morph orbs. And they're also like, I just went past one of them, but they're like green points on the map where I can use chaos control, similar to the light speed dash in older Sonic games.
Any similarities the morph form might have to any squid-based third-person shooters is entirely circumstantial.
But justified. I mean, wait, what? But yeah, you can like just meander around the hub world for a while. Like, I haven't even found all the gems yet. There is also the collection room, where you can see some of the music you've collected, and it says where it's from. It had, though the BioLizard theme does not have its vocals, if you were wondering. We're not sure why on that, but it just doesn't. Here we have, art from the movie Shadow. We have concept art from that is separated by games, including Sonic X. Stuff is in here, which is kind of cool. They even give a nod to Rivals and Black Knight. Some of the concept art for like various other Shadow friends like Omega, Rouge. There's Iblis in here. Some early concept art for Shadow. There's a lot of just like interesting like gimmick designs for things for like Shadow's levels. Animatics on how he meets other characters. Like, this is very much one of those things, like, if you want to get real nitty-gritty on, like, older Shadow stuff, they even have biography stuff for the various characters. And I believe, yeah, this is cutscenes. I think I can show at least the first one. Yeah. Like this, the game is very, very, very well animated. And yeah, here we have Shadow being woken up for the first time, meeting Maria. So it's like, it's all that. This is, I believe, just like the backstory parts. There is a like story so far animatic on YouTube, which I highly suggest watching.
Or just watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Go watch the animatic. It's from the like the official animation team. It is very good. And yeah, here we have, it's moved into the space colony. And this is basically why Shadow wasn't at Sonic's birthday party.
That needed an explanation?
Well, they also have, here's how in-depth the lore team is. There is a cutscene that explains why there is a Sonic boss fight in Sonic Generations, or a Shadow boss fight in Generations, even though Shadow wasn't there. The lore team is on point. Like, if you would have told me 30 years ago Sonic was going to have this expansive lore, I would have asked what you were on.
I mean, be fair, Sonic has always had expansive lore. It's just it used to be like about 30% of it. It just used to be that there used to be like 3 contradictory sets of lore, none of which was all of which were not as well put together as the total thing.
If we're talking 30 years ago, we're still in like the Genesis era.
Okay, yeah, 30 years ago in the Genesis era, there wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's why Sonic Sat AM and needed to invent its own characters, which were borrowed by the Archie series.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the first set of lore that is mutually contradictory with a lot of other stuff.
I think the Archie comics are one of the few things that aren't really referenced here.
Although, well, that's because it kind of can't be.
Fair enough.
Anyway, but yeah, although apparently they do own more of those characters than some people thought they might, but they don't want to anyway, because that actually goes back to the very origins of Sonic, where Japan Sega didn't tell America Sega some of the lore stuff.
Yeah, like Sonic's not actually on another planet called Mobius. He's on Earth.
Yeah, so America Sega made up their own stuff for even the very first couple of games.
Right. Who remembers Dr. Quintobor?
Okay, I'm probably the only other person in the room who knows that name. That's not
I know that name.
fair.
I read the Archie comics for a significant amount of time.
I'm like, oh, this isn't even something from the Archie comics. This is something from the advertisements for Sonic 1.
Yup.
This is like Dr. Quintobor is the
But it was referenced in the Archie.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
Can-
Dr. Robotnik before he turned evil for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah, because Dr. Quintobor was gathering all of the planet's evil energy into the Chaos Emeralds, if I'm remembering correctly. Except the whole thing went awry and, exploded. He had an egg on his person because that was lunch and turned into Dr. Robotnik. Yes, Quintobor is Robotnik spelled backwards.
This falls somewhat afoul of the fact that Robotnik sounds way more like a real word and or name, but
Yes.
Yeah. It's also why it doesn't, like, Sonic never says I've got to change the professor back to his original non-evil form. Even the advertisement, he's got to defeat the evil professor. Usually in these situations when when the professor's turned evil because of his experiments, you endeavor to make him not evil.
Indeed.
That never happens here, which is a big indicator of it was just something made up by not the lore team, let's say, or whatever passed is that in the 90s.
We didn't have a lore team until like Ian Flynn and the IDW comics team got involved. Sonic lore was just by the seat of their pants.
Yeah. But, Sonic lore started really getting established with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Angel Island, that kind of thing. And, though I wouldn't say it got taken seriously until Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
That's the game where,
that's the game where they start putting in enough lore stuff that people noticed that the American lore had been different and didn't actually work with it.
Well, it's also that, that's the exact game where they, tag team Robotnik for Eggman.
Yep.
They literally do the handoff, which, let's call that a Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Since, she did it first.
I personally prefer Robotnik, but that's just because I'm very old.
Well, it's also
even in the current canon, that's still his actual family name. It's not It's not the old Dr. Gerald Eggman and Maria Eggman.
Yeah. It's also because Eggman is a dumb name to call yourself.
Yes. That's partly why I prefer Robotnik.
It is, unless you're Japanese, in which case you don't have the discernment of what names sound dumb in English.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. Anyway. So how big is the Hedgehog's campaign here?
We did actually stream it. I believe it was about just to run all the stages and unlock the ending was 6 hours.
So it's doing better than Super Mario 3D World's extra chapter.
Yeah, this is about the size of another game in and of itself. Because that's just I'm a very decent Sonic player. If I was relatively newer to Sonic, this could easily have taken me like 10, 15 hours.
Mm.
And like even a lot of my thing was I was semi-grinding for higher ranks. Like if I just wanted clears and move on, then I probably could have shaved another hour off that.
Mm.
And yeah, as far as price-wise, we are looking at For the regular base game, $50. Honestly, just for Shadow Generations, easy recommend. And you get Sonic Generations as well. You're basically getting 2 games for the price of 1.
Now, I have a caveat with this because it depends on what you might be looking for. Because Sonic, the original Sonic Generations on PC is still a valid purchase. Even more so if you want to get into that game's mod community. Because Sonic Generations has the best mod community of all the, modern day PC Sonic games.
I guess asterisk to that currently.
Right, but like if you want to play Sonic Unleashed on PC, you've got to get the original Sonic Generations.
Yes.
And it is worth noting when I say Sonic Unleashed, I mean the daytime levels, the non-Werehog levels.
The good levels.
Yes.
I'm a Sonic fan, even I don't really like the Werehog levels.
Well, yeah.
It's one of the few Sonic games I can't start over. Like, I can play the Werehog levels maybe once or twice, but I couldn't do all of Generations over again.
You mean Unleashed?
Unleashed, yes, sorry.
Fair enough. Because, that gameplay is very contentious.
Yes.
Sorry.
And I believe currently the only way to get original Generations is either if you already have a key or buy it in the franchise pack.
Yes, it's in a bundle now.
Yes. Which is kind of problematic. I wish both would have been available, and this would have been an add-on. But that's just me. But yeah, as far as like, if you don't really care about mods or can wait for the Sonic X Shadow Generations, the new version mod scene to start to flourish, then definitely grab this one. If you have the means to if you just want to play the original Sonic Generations and can get it's still worth getting. They're still very good games, though I will say the original PC port does not play well, and if you're going to try and run it on modern hardware, you will have to mod it. So it's definitely one of those ones where if you don't want to mod it, don't even bother with original Generations. Because if you have a modern version of Windows, it will be damn near unplayable. But yeah, this version is definitely competent. Shadow controls nice. The Sonics control nice. Yeah, any other questions or comments from you guys?
No, not from me.
I think I'm good.
All right. Yeah. Go play Sonic.
All right. So that'll about do it for Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. Be sure to tune in after the break as the Golic reviews rush.